here. The NFC Championship is here, and this year's NFC Championship game will feature the Washington Commanders traveling to go play the Philadelphia Eagles, and I am very excited about this game. I mean, this matchup is so interesting for a multitude of reasons, and the big reason why it's so interesting to me is because it's two divisional rivals meeting in the playoffs, but not just the playoffs, they're meeting in the NFC Championship game for the right to go to the Super Bowl. And when you see two divisional rivals playing the playoffs, it's always fun because, one, that hate and animosity is already there. That hate between the players, the teams, the franchises, the fan bases, it's already there. And these two teams have already played twice, so that third time, the familiarity is there. Both these teams have a good idea what the other one does really well. So it's really the true test of who is a better team. And also, we're getting a matchup between two teams where I don't think many thought we were going to get this matchup, at least in the conference championship game. I mean, if you're like me, you probably expected the Eagles to be here because honestly, if we're looking at it, the Eagles may have one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. But it's like, the Commanders being here is crazy. I mean, we live in a world right now where the Commanders are 1 win away from the Super Bowl. Just one. If they win this game, the Washington Commanders will be in the Super Bowl. And that is like insane to me because in my lifetime, never seen it happen. I've never seen them win a playoff game in my lifetime. I barely ever seen them in the playoffs, if we're being for real. I mean, I'm of the age that's a little too to really make out and remember that RG3 run where he got them to the playoffs and then got hurt. I don't really remember that. I didn't watch it live. I saw it after the fact, but not in the moment. And what makes this Commanders story so great and so amazing is because they're led by a rookie quarterback. And I think a lot of times we talk about these quarterbacks leading these teams. I think we always say this quarterback led their team, even when you can look at it and say, okay, yes, he is the quarterback. Yes, he's playing pretty good football, but I wouldn't say he led this team. He was mainly maybe picked up, carried in a way, nudged by his team. This year, this rookie quarterback, Jayden Daniels, is leading the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. And that is crazy. I don't think we are truly giving Jayden Daniels the proper props for how good he is currently playing right now and how amazing it is to see him doing what he's doing. I think the title of this video will be, can Jayden Daniels do the impossible? And in my opinion, he's already done the impossible because not that I wasn't high on Jayden Daniels coming out because I thought he was going to be a good NFL quarterback. I just think he wouldn't. I just didn't think he'd be this. I didn't think he'd be this early. I mean, he was the third quarterback on my personal draft board behind Caleb Williams and Drake May. And while it's pretty clear and evident that he is the best quarterback in his class, and that's no slight to the other two dudes, because I still believe in Caleb, and I definitely believe in Drake May, it's just he has done things that a rookie quarterback shouldn't do. When you look at these rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks, typically how they play is often so heavily influenced by their surroundings. If their surroundings are good, if they have good infrastructure where they at, they are going to succeed. Jayden Daniels was not put in the best position to succeed. Coming into this year, I was actually very worried for Jayden Daniels because I did not like this Washington Commanders team as a whole. I saw him as a team that outside Terry McLaurin didn't really have too many offensive weapons that he could heavily rely upon. I saw offensive line that I didn't know if they could protect him properly at all, and I was genuinely afraid for his health because we know Jayden Daniels has a tendency to take some Looney Tunes style hits where it's like, oh my goodness, how is he still standing? Yeah, that's kind of what Jayden Daniels has been doing. And while some of these players have definitely exceeded my personal expectations, this team's success has been because of Jayden Daniels. This team wouldn't be where they are right now without him. I know I saw that. I know everybody's probably seen the graphic where they show all the rookie quarterbacks that have led their team to a conference championship game, and then they show their defensive ranking. And Jayden Daniels, I think, was the only one on that list that his defense was outside the top 10. I think they're like maybe 18. Not saying the defense is bad because they do have their moments and they have shown up for this team, especially last round against the Detroit Lions. It's just because of him. Like, it's rare we see a rookie quarterback come in and look this poised. It's rare we see a rookie quarterback or young quarterback, or quarterback in general be able to come in and elevate his team the way Jayden Daniels does. There's a lot of other quarterbacks around the league that have been playing for a long time that we see as good quarterbacks that we don't think and we don't associate their name with elevating their team. But Jayden Daniels is one of those guys right now. He is the reason this team is good. He is lifting them. This offense does not work without him. His poise, his playmaking ability, his arm is what makes this offense work. And it's not just an offense that could be plug and play with any quarterback. While I do genuinely love this offense they're running, and I think Cliff Kingsbury is having himself a phenomenal year and really proving me wrong, because I did not like Cliff Kingsbury as a coach, but oh my God, I love him as an OC. I really don't want to see Cliff Kingsbury go take a head coaching job, because me personally, I don't think it will work out well. I think Cliff Kingsbury, if he is smart, he can probably see now that I'm a coordinator, and that's okay. Some people just have to realize, maybe I'm not meant to be a coach. Maybe I'm just meant to be an offensive coordinator, and he is a damn good one. He has been calling really, really good games and putting Jayden Daniels in some really good position to succeed. But also, Jayden Daniels has just been flat out balling. And it's so interesting, and it's so nice to see a young quarterback who just be looking unfazed out there for real. He just be chilling. Like, nothing really be bothering him for real. Like, it's just phenomenal to see. And in this game, I mean, you could say they have the best quarterback. I think the Washington Commanders have the best quarterback in this game. And that's no slight to Jalen Hurts at all. If I'm being honest, there's only like a handful of quarterbacks I would probably take over Jayden Daniels right now, if we're being completely honest. It's Patrick Mahomes, of course. It's Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. And then after that, it's like, I think him and CJ Stroud are a debate, whether if you're talking about right now or in the future, because if you didn't know this, CJ Stroud, I think, is a few years younger than Jayden Daniels, because Jayden Daniels did play in college for a long time, and CJ Stroud was only in college for like 3 years. But I think that's a debate right there. Everybody else, I'm taking Jayden Daniels. I'm taking Jayden Daniels over Jordan Love. I'm taking him over Jared Goff. I'm taking him over Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, all the rookie quarterbacks he came in with, and I'm taking him over Jalen Hurts. And that's no slight at all to Jalen Hurts, because I feel like Jalen Hurts is getting a lot of unnecessary criticism these past few weeks, when all he's done is done exactly what his team has needed him to do to win. This Eagles offense doesn't require Jalen Hurts to go out there and throw for 200 plus yards. I know it's crazy, because it's rare you see an NFL offense built out in a way where it's like, oh, we just need you to throw for 150. But that's all they need from him. They just need him to not turn the ball over and to make timely passes, use his legs wisely, and just be a quarterback, be an orchestrator. That's all they ask him to do, and he does that pretty well. Is there a discussion to be had that his arm may be a limiting factor to whatever offense he's on? I think we can have that discussion. I think that's an okay discussion to have, even though you could throw out that Super Bowl run, or in that Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes, he went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes on a bum shoulder and was throwing the ball all over the field and was looking phenomenal. But I'm going to still just take Jayden Daniels, because what he's doing right now is amazing. And in all honesty, I think if we switch positions, if we switch these two quarterbacks, I think one team gets worse while another team, you could argue, could just get a little bit better. And so, yeah, I just love Jayden Daniels. I love what they have going on in Washington. I think this could be the start of something that is very nice. Now, when it does come to the actual football being played, one thing that I think will play a big factor in this game will be the weather. Because the thing about the Washington Commanders' first two playoff games is they've been playing these games in pristine football conditions. I mean, round one, the wild card round, they played Tampa in Tampa. The weather was perfect for them. Then in the divisionals, they played the Lions in Detroit. And yes, it is in Detroit, but Detroit plays in a dome. So we haven't had a chance to see this offense in adverse weather conditions. And the one thing about Philly is it's not going to be nice and warm and perfect conditions. It's going to be maybe disgusting. As we kind of saw last week, that snow, while it did look very beautiful, it has the potential to muck up a game. And it kind of did in that game. The thing about this Eagles team is they're really built for any type of weather. And I wonder how well this Washington offense would translate to being in those poor weather conditions. I think that will play a big factor in this game. Like, how well would Jayden Daniels play in the cold? I mean, we've only seen Jayden Daniels play in nice weather places. He started his college career off at Arizona State. Arizona State, it's always nice there. He played in Baton Rouge. It don't really get cold down there at LSU. So I just wonder how he will play and how this offense will look if it's snowing, if it's raining, if it's just cold as all get out. Because that stuff plays a big factor. It really does. And that's the thing about playoff football. You kind of have to build your team to be able to withstand these weather conditions, because football, If you're lucky, you play big time football in December and January. So you have to kind of build out your team in a way that can handle these conditions. And I just wonder how this offense will hold up. I think they will be fine, but I think that's a legitimate concern to have in this game. Now, when I look at the Commander side of things and look at things they have to do to win this game, one of the major things is just limit Saquon Barkley. I was going to say stop him, but Saquon Barkley is so dynamic, he's so good that you're not going to stop him. You're not going to hold him to like 70 yards rushing most of the time. If you get lucky, you might be able to. But with this line that he has now, and with his just natural ability and him being one of the best running backs I've honestly ever seen, maybe one of the best pure talents I've ever seen, you're not going to stop him. You just need to limit him, and especially the big play. The thing about Saquon is he's going to get his. You just can't let him get those 60-yard runs that are literal backbreakers. That's what he was doing against the Rams. That 60-yard run at the end of the game to really seal the game for Philly, that demoralizes the team. You cannot let that happen. And I think the way to do that is play with, two high safeties. Play with people not like on the line of scrimmage, but crowded in the line of scrimmage. You have to be perfect in your gap filling, perfect in your technique, perfect in basically the way you move your hips to stop Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley can find a crease everywhere. His vision is that good, and his cutting ability is one of one. I don't think there's another running back in the league that moves as well as Saquon does. There's many that move like him, but none that move as good. I mean, you saw in the Rams game, when they were playing too high looks and having their safeties back there, he didn't really have too many really explosive runs. That explosive run really came from the fact that the Rams were itching to get a tackle for a loss, a sack. They were itching to get something, so they had everybody close to the line of scrimmage, and they sent a run blitz. And the thing about Saquon is, if you leave a gap open, if you leave a hole open, he gonna find it. He's just such an interesting running back to have to game plan against, especially now that he's with Philly. I called it before the season. I knew he was going to have a really good year, but he is playing out of his mind. He really is. So that's really just a big key for this Washington defense. How will you slow down Saquon Barkley? Don't let Saquon beat you. If Saquon beats you, you will lose this game. If Saquon goes off, you will lose this game. But if you're able to contain him, if you're able to slow him down, if you're able to limit the explosive plays coming from Saquon, you have a really good chance in this game. And do I think they'll be able to do it? I don't know, because Jahmyr Gibbs was able to run rampant on them. And the only reason they didn't give it to Jahmyr Gibbs more is because they got down by so much early thanks to those Jared Goff turnovers. And also from the fact that I do think Jared Goff was maybe legitimately concussed after that one pick, and Frank Louvu smacked the mess out of him. I was like, oh my goodness. Somebody make sure that man knows what day it is. And I think he did, but who's to say? It's playoff football. That concussion test was probably, hey, bro, who you play for, the Lions? All right, straight, get back out there and play some football. But Jahmyr Gibbs was having a day, and Jahmyr Gibbs is a really good back. Saquon's better. Saquon's better. That's just a fact. And I love Jahmyr Gibbs to death. Saquon's better. In my opinion, Saquon's the best back in the league currently. And yes, I know Derrick Henry's still around, but Saquon is one of those ones. Amazing. I've been a Saquon fan since Penn State, and I'm an Ohio State fan. So that is kind of crazy, but that's how you know it's real. And the next big thing, and this is just a really important thing, and I think the Commanders will have ways to do this, but they're just going to have to really make sure they do this. Protect Jayden Daniels. Protect him. This Eagles front is one of the best fronts in the league, led by Jalen Carter, who is a up-and-coming, rising, budding superstar at that D tackle position. You saw in that Rams game, when he wants to take over a game, when he wants to affect the game, he can. So please, block him. Please protect Jayden Daniels. Keep him clean for the most part. Now, the one thing about Jayden Daniels is he will help you because he will use his legs, and his offense is built in a way that kind of can supplement for not having the best offensive line. They run a lot of RPOs, a lot of read option, ways to keep the defense guessing and not just attacking forward. Now, the one reason why I think this will be hard in this game, because they're missing Sam Cosmi, who is their best tackle, and he's out for the year. And that's a big thing because you're going to have Nolan Smith Jr. coming off that edge. You're going to have Bryce Huff. You're going to have guys coming off that edge. So it'll be really helpful to have your best tackle, but you're missing him. So you're going to have to protect him, whether that is keeping Austin Eckler in there. I really like Austin Eckler because Austin Eckler is a very good run blocker, while he is also a very good pass catcher too. And honestly, that burst is back. We've been worried about Austin Eckler and his burst for the past few years. It's back. It showed itself in that Detroit Lions game when he had that very long run. I'm like, oh, That looks like some vintage Austin Eckler, which is a crazy thing to say. But they're just going to have to really protect him. And like I said, they have things for that, but it's going to be harder because this is one of the best defensive fronts in the league. Really. I think it's like them, the Texans. There may be a few teams I'm forgetting, maybe just because they're not in the playoffs. And it's like, at this point in time right now, if you're not in the playoffs, am I really paying attention to you right now? Like, let's just be real. And last but not least, with the Commanders. So one thing I really want to see them do is attack these backers. If you didn't know, Nakobe Dean went out for injury against the Packers, and they unfortunately have lost him for the year. And while I don't think the linebackers are a weakness for this Eagles team because they have Zach Ball, who is playing all-pro level football right now. I mean, he was legitimately first-team all-pro, having a stellar season. That's a weak link given the Nakobe Dean injury. Given you have a guy in there who I forget his name, but I remember last year he played for the 49ers, and when Dre Greenlaw got hurt in that Super Bowl, the Chiefs were picking on him, and the Chiefs were cooking him. And if the Commanders are smart, they're going to pick on bro. They're going to pick on him. They're going to make him have to guard these backs out of the backfield, maybe have to guard these tight ends. I would attack this middle of the field if I were the Commanders. I would see, okay, how good is your depth at linebacker position? How big of a loss is it that Nakobe Dean is not playing? I think it's a huge loss because in this type of game, I think Nakobe Dean will be a great spy for Jalen Hurts, given his athletic ability, his ability to go sideline to sideline. I would have really loved to see him do that, but he is not there. And while I think the Eagles will be fine, you never really know. This Commanders team may be more equipped to attack them, given they have an athletic quarterback, and the Rams do not. I love Matthew Stafford to death. He is not an athletic quarterback. He's not going to kill you with his legs. That's not something you have to think about when playing Matthew Stafford. That is something you have to think about when you're playing Jayden Daniels. It is. So I think that's something I really want to see the Commanders do if we're just, keeping it a buck. All right, now for the Eagles. And I'll be honest, I'm picking the Eagles in this game. And it's mainly because I don't think the Eagles have to do much other than what they've been doing. I think this defense is good enough to match up with the Commanders. I know when the last time these two teams played in the regular season, the Commanders won, but a lot of that can be attributed to the fact that Jalen Hurts got hurt that game. Safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson got ejected in that game on an ejection that was a little bit fluky, and he is a big part of this defense, and I don't foresee that happening in this game. And honestly, they just got the Eagles at the right time. I think the Eagles are just one of the better, more talented teams in the league, and they're one of the few teams that if they just play their game, they can win almost any game they're in. This defense is really, really damn good. They have the pass rushers to get at you with 4. They have the defensive backfield to man up and guard your guys because while, yes, I love De'Ami Brown, and he's having really a big, coming out party this year after being a receiver that a lot of people liked out the draft a few years back and has yet to really materialize. He is showing out. Cooper DeJean is over there. Now, Quinyon Mitchell is a question because he did get hurt in that Rams game, and we don't too much know the status on him. They're saying he may play. They're saying he may not. I think they're probably going to give it a go, but that shoulder injury will probably be something that's going to affect him if he is playing. But the Eagles, I think, will do just fine defensively against this Commanders offense. Honestly, mainly because I think this Commanders offense is going to struggle in the weather conditions, given, like I said before, they haven't really played in too many games like this when it comes down to the weather. But even with that being said, there's still some things the Eagles need to do. And the main thing is, just give Saquon Barkley the ball, man. Saquon Barkley is going to be the best player on the field whenever he's on the field this Sunday. So just give him the ball and let him do what he does. Because what Saquon Barkley does is he cooks, man. When Saquon Barkley's on, this whole team is just scary and hard to stop. Because once he's running the ball well, you're now thinking about him. You're bringing more people up. And then, is that A.J. Brown is that A.J. Brown split out wide? Oh, is that Devontae Smith? Oh, is that Dallas Goedert killing me over the middle? They got the guys. Now, I know their passing game hasn't looked too well over the past 2 weeks, and while they haven't had to look too good, it also is a little bit concerning to me, but that's not something I put on Jalen Hurts, because when I watch them, it's not that Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball well. It's like, I don't like these route combinations from the Eagles. It's like nobody's getting open for real, and that's weird to say on a team that has Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, but everything looks just so simple and, vanilla in their passing game. I need to see more creativity. You have Devontae Smith, you have A.J. Brown. I understand that could lead you to be like, okay, we just got to do what we do and we are fine. But that is not the case. You have to engineer ways to get these receivers open better. And also, the one thing about that Rams game that I think doesn't reflect in the stat sheet is the Eagles had a few deep downfield passes that were just misses. A.J. Brown got a one-on-one opportunity that he just flat out dropped. I forget who else dropped one over the middle. I think it was on like a seam route. Like, they've had chances. They just need to capitalize. But all honesty, I don't even think they need to do too much in the passing game because I feel like Saquon Barkley is going to have a very good day. The defense is going to be able to get after Jayden Daniels and make him uncomfortable enough for the Eagles to take the lead. And once the Eagles take the lead, they can just sit on the football and do what they do and run the football down your throat. And it's hard to stop, and especially with the Commanders' defense that is not built to stop the run that well. The Lions were running up and down the field on them. They just had to stop doing it because they got down by so much. I don't think the Eagles are going to get down by that much or at all in this game. They'll just be able to play their brand of football, which is very effective, and it works. Now, I'm not going to do what I did last week and basically give the Commanders no chance because I know I didn't post a video, but my main thing that I was going to say is it would take a Jayden Daniels superhero putting my cape on type of performance to win. And while he played really well, I wouldn't even say he played like Superman. He just played his style of football. He just did what he needed to do. He just played like Jayden Daniels, but maybe playing like Jayden Daniels is playing like a superhero. And it's just kind of crazy. And I think if Jayden Daniels does have a pretty good game and if this turns to a shootout, I think the Commanders like their chances in that game because how they probably see it and how I see it is, like I said, they have the best quarterback. And when it's a shootout and you have the best quarterback, you feel good. And I love how the Commanders play too. They play in a way. They want to win. They go for every fourth down. I don't know if I've seen them punt in this postseason. They go for it all the time. And also, it's also good because their offense gets them in positions where it's fourth and manageable, where it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3. And with how his offense is set up, with how spread it is, and how much option, read option, RPO based it is, there's just a lot of openings. And when you have a mobile quarterback, it just opens up your playbook so much more in short yardage situations where you can literally give the ball to him and give him an option of what to do with the football. Hey, bro, you can run it if you want to, or you can throw it to the open man because everybody's too focused on you to miss De'Ami Brown just sitting there. Ball, but in all honesty, I just am picking the Eagles. They're the better team. They're one of the best teams in the league, and I feel like they will do enough to win this football game. And I feel like we're going to see the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. Yeah, second time in 3 years. And who will they play? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. But with that being said, I love y'all. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about this game. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, just let me know. And I'm going to be back pretty soon with the AFC Championship game. So, bye.